Thank you very much, and I hope you've all had a good lunch and you've returned refreshed and recharged and ready for the second part of today's event. And as I promised before lunch, we have a terrific group of speakers and a superb panel up ahead to build on what I'm sure you'll all agree has been a really interesting and indeed inspirational start to the event. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our next keynote speaker and the first of our political speaker keynotes. Rachel Reeves, who many of you will know as the Shadow Chancellor, is a long-time supporter of the work that the TheCityUK has done on its regions and nations work. Many of you will know her as the MP for Leeds West. Many of you will also know her as a truly tenacious chair of the Bays Select Committee, and others will be familiar with her recently adopted role as Shadow Chancellor, and it is in that office that she is speaking to us this afternoon. So with no further ado, Rachel Reeves.
Thank you very much for inviting me to come and speak at your conference today. And I'm very sorry that I can't be with you in person. I would say though, thank you very much for giving me more than 45 minutes notice of having to do this speech, which is a bit more than what I've got used to in the last few weeks. Labour are proud to be a pro-worker and a pro-business party. Only by working together can we achieve the sustainable recovery that we need to see in all parts of our country. As Shadow Chancellor, and as a former economist at the Bank of England and in retail banking, I know that private sector growth is fundamental for our economy and for our society. As a Leeds MP, I know only too well that the contribution that UK financial services is made well beyond the City of London. In towns and cities including Leeds and Birmingham and Edinburgh, many other places too, providing a significant contribution to our local and our national economy. Financial services are the UK's biggest export, and that's been the case for decades. Your success matters, as does the health of our everyday economy. The government has a role and a responsibility to create the conditions for all of our industries to thrive and succeed, and to create opportunities for British business. We don't need to face low growth and high taxes, a point I made in my response to the budget. Low growth and high taxes are corrosive for our country. It means higher taxes and less to spend in the things that matter to all of us. The budget and the spending review sadly ducked many of the challenges that we're facing as a country. The cost of living, higher and unfair taxes, and the dismally low growth that we've experienced in recent years and are projected now to endure under current policies for many years to come. Over the last decade, our economy, with the Tories in government, has grown by just 1.8% on average per year. If the UK had grown at the same rate as other advanced economies, it could have spent over £30 billion more in our public services without needing to raise a penny more in taxes, even allowing for the global financial crisis. Under Labour, the economy grew by an average of 2.3% a year. The Office of Budget Responsibility has warned that the government's Brexit deal will be a significantly bigger impact even than COVID to our economy. Yet what has been the response of government ministers? To seek to increase tensions with the EU further. What message does that send to those wanting to invest in our country? In contrast, Labour will show what responsible leadership can do, and we will make Brexit work. We will fix some of the holes in the government's patchwork Brexit deal with the EU. Just because we are outside the EU doesn't change the fact that for many firms in financial services and elsewhere, the EU remains a really important and in very many cases, our very largest market. We know how important regulatory equivalence is, and I want to ensure that we've got the widest possible agreement there. Quite frankly, the current government hung financial services out to dry during the Brexit negotiations, but it was not the only sector to experience this damaging approach. Labour will make practical improvements to build on the deal in our national interest. From the recognition of professional qualifications for our services sector, cutting red tape for many of our food exporters with a bespoke veterinary agreement, and making it easier for our touring performers, we will provide the support for British exports and British jobs that is lacking currently. Labour will create a stable economic environment, promoting economic growth, business success, and rising living standards. Policy stability is important to an industry as regulated as finance, and we want to see finance thrive within a stable and predictable set of rules. Stability is the foundation for innovation, and it is important that there is the space and regulatory landscape to try new things, which is why developments in fintech are to be welcomed. I want everyone to have confidence in our approach to the economy. That is why I set out a set of clear fiscal rules in September that will bind the next Labour government to ensure that we always spend wisely and keep debt under control, while able to transform schools and hospitals, and crucially, to invest in the new industries of the future. The biggest challenge facing us right now is mobilising our country for the green transition. Just as the UK financed the first industrial revolution, Labour is committed to ensuring that the UK leads the world in financing the green industrial revolution. The only way to be a responsible Chancellor today is to be a Green Chancellor. As the Office of Budget Responsibility has shown, stalling action on getting to net zero in this decisive decade could double the overall cost to our economy. British industries can lead the world with government creating the conditions for green growth. Investment will flow most to the countries and governments taking a lead. That is why at Labour Party conference, I committed to an additional £28 billion a year of capital investment in every year until 2030. The finance sector as a whole has a vital role to play in ensuring that our everyday economy modernises. Indeed, we will only create a zero carbon economy if finance flows to the industries and the jobs that will facilitate that. And investment will only flow to our shores if government leads, with investment, regulation, an approach of partnership, especially in new technologies and their finance. There is a global race to secure investment, and financial services are essential if we are to achieve net zero, and a Labour government would work with the sector to achieve that objective. I've heard of a number of good examples from within financial services in recent months. Just two examples. From Lloyds, providing discounted finance for improvements in dairy farms, reducing energy, water, and the use of red diesel. To Aviva's Scotland solar carport in Perth, powered by Tesla's technology, saving carbon emissions and creating more charging points for electric vehicles. And as the driver of an electric vehicle, I can't emphasize enough the importance of sorting out that infrastructure. Our country should aim high to develop expertise in climate transitions, which is why our call for financial institutions and FTSE 100 companies to produce credible climate transition plans by 2023 is an important opportunity as well as a responsibility. Environmental, social, and governance factors are some of the fastest growing aspects of finance because you and investors know that no one operates in a vacuum and that we all have wider responsibilities. Here is an opportunity for the UK to lead the way, for UK finance to lead the way. With the right political leadership, alliances and investment and plans, the UK can truly lead the world on the green transition and ensure that the jobs come to this country. The Labour Party has changed and it's under new leadership, with ideas for the future for our country, for a stronger economy and a more resilient society. Our focus is bringing people together to realise our shared potential in the national interest. Your role of enabling our wider economy to make the green transition is crucial. I look forward to meeting with many of you in the months ahead, and I have met many of you already, so that we can start working together, hearing about the difference that you are making now and the difference that we can all make in the future. So thank you once again for having the opportunity to speak to your conference today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
I have to say one of the great pleasures of the last few months has been to see this cross-party appreciation that has developed about the importance of financial and related professional services, and long may that continue. So our thanks to Rachel Reeves for her comments, and in the interest of balance we'll be having the City Minister later to make sure the Conservative Party's point of view is put across as well.